हरिः ओम् नमस्काराः स्वागतं सर्वेषाम् अस्माकं गीताध्ययनवर्गे प्रार्थनाश्लोकेन आरभामहे। यः कोऽपि वदेत् वक्तुमिच्छति। शारदा महोदय, भवती वक्तुमिच्छति किम्? प्रार्थनाश्लोकः भवति।
नमस्ते महोदय। हरिः ओम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरये।
नारायणः परो व्यक्तात्
अण्डमव्यक्तसम्भवम्
अण्डमव्यक्तसम्भवम् अण्डस्यान्तस्त्विमे लोकाः सप्तद्वीपा च मेदिनी शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्।
धन्यवादाः। इदानीम् अस्माभिः भगवद्गीतायाः पञ्चमाध्यायः कर्मसन्न्यासयोगः इति पठ्यमानः अस्ति. So we are now studying the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita called Karma Samnyasa Yoga. एकवारं श्लोकान् वदामः. अहं वदामि, भवन्तः म्यूट् मध्ये स्थित्वा अनुवदन्तु. So now we'll chant the shlokas of Panchamadhyaya. So I will chant them. You please be muted, but chant with me. But be muted. ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ पञ्चमोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेययेतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासः कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते। ज्ञेयः स नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते। साङ्ख्ययोगौ पृथक् बालाः प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः एकमप्यास्थितः सम्यक् उभयोर्विन्दते फलम्। यत्साङ्ख्यैः प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते। एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति। सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयो गतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा न चिरेणाधिगच्छति। योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते। नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित्। पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन्निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव कृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषामादित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परं तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पण्डिता समदर्शिनः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विचेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढः ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः एतावत् अस्माभिः 17 श्लोकपर्यन्तं पठितं तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः इति. So we studied up to shloka 517 in the last class. So the last shloka we studied was this. एकवारं पुनः पश्यामः. तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः. तद्बुद्धयः, those whose intellect is centered on, steadfast on tat brahman, paramatman, those people. Tadatmanaha, who are absorbed in that, meaning they are nothing but Brahman. They became Brahman. Tannishtha, those who are steadfast, firmly established in Brahman. Tat parayanaha, for whom Parabrahman is the ayanam. Ayanam ityukto gamyam, dhyeyam. So their destiny is only Parabrahman. Tat parayana, param ayanam, ultimate goal is Parabrahman, is parayana. Tat parayanaha, those who have Paramatman as the destiny, the ultimate goal. What happens to them? Gacchantya punaravrittim. Punaravrittihi, meaning returning, coming back. Apunaravrittihi, not coming back, not being born again, no more birth. Gacchanti apunaravrittim. They'll be free from this cycle of birth and death. Jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. What kind of people are they? They are those people whose ignorance, the darkness of ignorance has been removed by the light of wisdom, jnanam. Those people. What is the ignorance we are talking about, and what is the knowledge we are talking about here? Not the knowledge about worldly things, the knowledge about the ultimate Brahman, the distinction between what is Sat and what is Asat, distinction between what is Atma and what is Anatma, distinction between what is Nityam, Satyam, eternal versus what is transient, temporary, fleeting. So that is the kind of knowledge. By that knowledge, who are free from their ignorance. That ignorance is washed away by that jnanam. So those people will be in Parabrahman, and since whatever they do not do anything with karma phalapeksha, so there is no bondage. Once there is no bondage, karma, why does one even get birth? To experience the karma phala, right? The results of one's actions. When there is no attachment to the karma phala and one is free from that, there is no more bondage. So there is no more birth again. So gachanti apunaravrittim, meaning they become free from this cycle of birth and death. So that's what we studied up to 517. Idanim vayam agre gacchamaha. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva shvapake cha pandita samadarshinaha. Purvam bhuktam jnane natu tadajnanam yesham nashitamatmanaha teshamaditya prakashayati tatparam. So those people whose knowledge has destroyed that ignorance. What is the ignorance? The ignorance, the delusion that I am this body, right? If the body is tall, I am tall. Anything related to this body, I am related to them. I am this body. That is the ajnana. So that ignorance has been removed by jnana. That's what was said before, right? Now, yesham jnanena nashitam atmanaha ajnanam te panditaha katham tattvam pashyanti ityuchyate vidya iti. So the reason why we should always study, whether it is Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads, with Adi Shankara's Bhashyam. He very nicely integrates the flow of the jnanam being shared here from one sloka to another sloka. And many people get confused. Why is this seems to be, there seems to be some repetition in these slokas. And why this from one sloka to another sloka, there is, Sri Krishna is jumping. I don't quite follow the flow, right? That is a typical confusion by the readers who try to study Bhagavad Gita through translations. And a beautiful thing what Adi Shankaracharya does is not just explaining the shlokas tattvam very precisely, of course in Samskritam. He also illustrates the flow. What is the intention of moving to the next shloka? What is the link between this shloka and the previous shlokas? Right? So that is what is in this sentence. येषां ज्ञानेन नाशितम् आत्मनः ज्ञानं ते पंडिताः. So those people whose ignorance has been destroyed, delusion has been destroyed by knowledge, they are called panditaha. Katham tattvam pashyanti ityuchyate. If that is the case, how do they see tattvam? Tattvam meaning parabrahman. Parabrahman is tattvam, ultimate truth. How do they see the world? How do they see the Brahman? Is the curiosity of anybody, right? So that is the question. To answer that, Sri Krishna is now starting this shloka. Right? So that is the explanation. Idanim shlokam punah vadami. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva svapake cha pandita samadarshinaha. To understand this shloka, we need to break it into words. Pada vibhagaha karniyah. Anantaram padanam arthah jnatavyah. What do they mean? What are these words? Anantaram vakye shlokaha tatra vakyatvena vakyarupena sthapaniyah. So we have to convert this shloka, which is because of chandas. It is not in a sentence form. We have to form a sentence out of it, prose order, so we can understand the meaning, precise meaning. Astu. Sharada Mahoday, Bhavati Karoti Kil.
नमस्ते महोदय.
Namaste.
विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पंडिता समदर्शिनः. पदविच्छेदम्. विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्राह्मणे गवि हस्तिनि शुनि च एव श्वपाके च पंडिताः समदर्शिनः. पदपरिचयम्. विद्या विनय संपन्ने अकारान्तः नपुंसकलिङ्गः. विद्या विनय संपन्न शब्दः
पुल्लिङ्ग शब्दः. ब्राह्मणः ब्राह्मणस्य विशेषणमस्ति. विद्या विनय सम्पन्नः ब्राह्मणः.
पुल्लिङ्गः. विद्या विनय संपन्न शब्दः सप्तमी विभक्तिः एकवचनं विद्या विनय संपन्ने. ब्राह्मणे अकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः ब्राह्मण शब्दः सप्तमी विभक्तिः एकवचनं ब्राह्मणे. गवि ओकारान्तः स्त्रीलिङ्गः गो शब्दः सप्तमी विभक्ति एकवचनं गवि. हस्तिनि नकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः हस्तिन् शब्दः सप्तमी विभक्तिः एकवचनं हस्तिनि. शुनि अकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः शुनक शब्दः
शुनि इति अर्थः शुनकः इति, परन्तु शब्दः श्वन् इति. श्वा श्वानौ श्वानः. यथा आत्मन् आत्मा आत्मानौ आत्मानः, तथैव श्वन् इति नकारान्त पुल्लिङ्गशब्दः. श्वा श्वानौ श्वानः इति सप्तमी विभक्ति रूपं शुनि इति भवति.
धन्यवादः. च अव्ययम् एवाव्ययम्. श्वपाके श्वपाके अपि अकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः श्वपच् श्वपच शब्दः.
अकारान्त पुल्लिङ्ग श्वपाक शब्दः.
श्वपाक श्वपाक
रामः रामे, श्वपाकः श्वपाके।
कारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः श्वपाक शब्दः सप्तमी विभक्तिः एकवचनं स्वपाके। पंडिताः अकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः पंडित शब्दः प्रथमा विभक्तिः बहुवचनं पंडिताः। समदर्शिनः नकारान्तः पुल्लिङ्गः समदर्शिन् शब्दः प्रथमा विभक्तिः बहुवचनं। आकांक्षपद्धत्या विवरणं के समदर्शिनः पंडिताः समदर्शिनः। क्रियापदं नास्ति, अध्याहारं भवन्ति अध्याहारं करोमि। पंडिताः केषु केषु समदर्शिनः भवन्ति। पंडिताः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गवि हस्तिनि शुनि च श्वपाके समदर्शिनः भवन्ति।
सम्यक् सम्यक् उत्तमम्। अतः अत्र किम् उक्तमस्ति? ते येषां ज्ञानेन आत्मनः अज्ञानं नाशितं ते पंडिताः कथं तत्त्वं पश्यन्ति? So how do those people, the wise people or panditaha jnaninaha, whose ignorance have been removed, whose delusion is removed by the jnanam, how do they look at the world? How do they see the tattvam parabrahman? Is explained here. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane. A brahmin who is qualified, who is knowledgeable, he has studied all the shastras, vidya, he has the knowledge, and also what kind of knowledge he has? Not just the shastric knowledge, he also has the knowledge of distinction between atma and anatma, right? Vinaya sampannaha, vinamrata, humility and knowledge. A Brahmin who has that. What is a Brahmin here? Brahmane iti. Not the caste system that we have established and we are following blindly. Not that Brahmin. Brahmanaha here means one who is established in the understanding of Tattvam, Brahman, Brahmani, Eva, Yasya Asaktihi, Saha Brahmanaha. Satvikaha, Satvaguna Pradhanaha. Gunas, right? Sattvam, Rajaha, Tamaha, the three gunas. So according to the gunas and karma action, Chaturvarnyam Maya Sushtam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha is a Gita Vakyam. So according to that, Sattva Pradhanaha, Satvikaha Brahmanaha. So a Brahmana like that, who is knowledgeable, who has the knowledge and also humility. Or Gavi, in a cow. Cow doesn't have the knowledge, right? So it is more Rajoguna, Pradhanaha. Hastini, Hastin, Hasti, Gajaha, elephant. Elephant, and then Shuni, in a dog, Shunakaha, Shunake. So these are like Tamo Guna Pradhana, the lower level, in the hierarchy, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, Adhamaha. Shvapakecha, one who eats the meat of an animal, like, dog, meat eater. Panditaha, Samadarshinaha. So those whose ignorance has been removed by knowledge, They are equanimous, equanimity. They see Parabrahman everywhere. Right? Is the meaning of the shloka. Let us see. This is a very good shloka with a deep message. Let us study the bhashyam. Aham bhashyam vadami. Sharda Mahodaya bhavati anuvadatu. Vidya vinaya sampanne vidya cha vinayascha vidya vinayau
विद्या विनय संपन्ने विद्या च विनयश्च विद्या विनयौ
विद्या आत्मनः बोधः विनयः उपशमः
विद्या आत्मनः बोधः विनय उपशमः
ताभ्यां विद्या विनयाभ्यां संपन्नः विद्या विनय संपन्नः
आभ्यां विद्या विनयाभ्यां संपन्नः विद्या विनय संपन्नः
विद्वान् विनीतश्च
विद्वान् विनीतश्च
यः ब्राह्मणः तस्मिन् ब्राह्मणे
यः ब्राह्मणः तस्मिन् ब्राह्मणे
गवि हस्तिनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पंडिताः समदर्शिनः
गवि हस्तिनि शुनि च एव श्वपाके च पंडिताः समदर्शिनः
पंडिताः ज्ञानिनः येषाम् आत्मानात्मा ज्ञानमस्ति ते समदर्शिनः भवन्ति कुत्र विद्या विनय संपन्ने विद्या कीदृशी विद्या आत्मनः बोधः विद्या आत्मज्ञानम् अस्ति इति विद्या संपन्नः विनयः उपशमः विनम्रता शमः शान्तिः ताभ्यां विद्या विनयाभ्यां संपन्नः विद्या विनय संपन्नः विद्वान् विनीतः यः ब्राह्मणः तस्मिन् ब्राह्मणे गवि हस्तिनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पंडिताः समदर्शिनः. So the jnanis who have the knowledge of what is Atma, what is Anatma, what is Parabrahman, what is not Parabrahman, those people, how do they see others? Whether one is Vidya Vinaya Sampannaha, Vidya. What kind of Vidya? Atmanaha Bodhaha is Vidya. So those who have Atmanaha Bodhaha, who have a good understanding of what Atma is, what they are, Vinayaha, Upashamaha, Shantihi, Vinamrata. So those who have the qualities of humility and knowledge. Tabhyam Vidya Vinayabhyam Sampannaha. In both those qualities, they are endowed in those two qualities. They are rich in those qualities. Who are they? Who is that? Vidya Vinaya Sampannaha, Vidwan. Kah saha Brahmanaha, Tasmin Brahmane. Even in a Brahmin who is endowed with these great qualities of Vidya and Vinaya, or Gavi in a cow, Hastini in an elephant, Shuni in a dog, Shwapakaha, one who eats the meat of an animal, in this specifically dog. Shwapake cha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Uttame Samskaravati Brahmane Satvike
विद्या विनय संपन्ने उत्तमे संस्कारवती ब्राह्मणे सात्विके.
So you have to, this is why you must read Bhashyam. So it's very clearly explaining. Otherwise, if you just read the shloka and try to understand the tattvam through a translation in English or something else, you won't understand this. You will simply think it is Brahmana. Who is Brahmana? The caste system we have established and we are blindly following it. We even believe that that has come from Bhagavad Gita. No, Lord Krishna said, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srushtam. So Lord Krishna created the caste system. No, Lord Krishna, Bhagavan did not create the caste system. We created the caste system, right? So what is explained here as Chaturvarnyam Brahmanaha, based on Gunaha and Karma, Guna Karmashaha, Guna Karmashaha. चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्मविभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्यकर्तारमव्ययम्. So in the 4th chapter, 13th shloka, he explains clearly, Chaturvarnyam maya srushtam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Because the world, the entire loka, the universe, what you see, is comprised of these three gunas. Sattvam, Rajaha, Tamaha. The constituents. Gunas are not qualities in the sense of the English word quality. No. These are the very basic constituents. The loka, the universe, everything that you see, your body, this house, this computer, the world, the planet, the sun, the entire universe, everything that can be perceived through the sense organs is made up of Prakriti, is made up of these three gunas, right? Then, including the human beings. Then, why this distinction? Because according to the guna, how do we get this guna and samskara? Karma phalam, right? So karma phalat samskaraha. Kidrushaha samskaraha? Tatra brahmanaha. Iti chet tatra sattva pradhanaha. Iti. Satvikasya sattva pradhanasya brahmanasya shamaha damaha tapaha. So who is a Brahmin? Not who we created the caste system and called some people Brahmin, and his son is a Brahmin, his son is a Brahmin by Janma, right? We believe we created such a system. No, that is not what is meant by Brahmin in our Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita. No relationship at all. Here, Brahmin is one who is Sattva Pradhanaha, Sattva Gunaha. How do you identify what is this Sattva means? Shantihi, Shamaha, Damaha, Tapaha. How do you identify such a Sattva Guna? Those people who are Sattvikaha, their focus will be in understanding the Parabrahman, Tattvam, Satyam, and they have Shamaha, Damaha, Tapaha are their actions. What do? Their focus is always in Indriya Nigraha, constraining of the Indriyas. From the Vishayaha, they are not focused on accumulating things and enjoying the worldly things. Tapaha. So they are more focused on Parabrahman. That's why the name Brahmana. Brahmani asaktihi, asaktaha iti brahmanaha. So Sattvika Sattva Pradhanaha. Then the other Varnaha. Varna is not caste, I repeat. This is the biggest tragedy of our, I would say not only our generation, many generations. The tragedy of our country and of our, the way we have created our society. Biggest tragedy is we have built a very, very strong, extraordinarily strong caste system, and we use Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads to support that system instead of trying to understand what Bhagavad Gita is actually teaching us, right? So it's a tragedy. It's very important. That's why I'm stressing that and spending a few minutes here to clarify that. And then the second Varna, Kshatriyaha. How do you identify a Kshatriya? Satvopasarjana rajaha pradhanasya kshatriyasya shauryatejaha prabhrutini karmani. So a kshatriya is that person who has sattva guna as secondary, rajo guna as the primary guna. So what are the, how do you identify such a person who has rajo guna? Rajo guna means shauryam, tejaha, action, balam bhavat, balam parakramaha. So that is a kshatriya, rajo guna pradhanaha. Sattvam api asti, parantu pradhana gunaha nasti. Gaunattvena gunaha. Anantaram, tama upasarjana rajaha pradhanasya vaishyasya. Krushyadini karmani. The third varna called Vaishya. There the pradhana guna is rajo guna, very active, action oriented, result oriented. The Vaishya always works for results. Krushyadini, agriculture, for what? To produce more harvest, right? To produce grains, food, vegetables, and trade them for money. Also business, agriculture, this kind of works. Why? Because the Rajo Guna, they are always active, action. They want to work, achieve, accumulate, become rich. That is no Vaishyadini, Vaishyaha. And Tamo Guna, they don't have any Sattva Guna at all, no, zero Sattva Guna. They'll have Rajo Guna, Tama, Kshamata. Rajo Guna is primary, Tamo Guna as the secondary. What is Tamo Guna? Tamo Guna, Raja Upasarjana Tamah Pradhanasya Shudrasya Sushrusha Eva Karma. Tamo Guna will make you lazy, want to, you don't want it. Persons who don't take any initiative, not interested in action. They do minimum action to survive. Just don't think, go earn something, follow others, and then earn, survive, live. That's enough. They're happy with that, right? We see that, so in any society, not only India, at any point of time in the world, whether it is America, Africa, England, doesn't matter, any country, you see this kind of classification, right? Naturally, you can easily categorize people into these categories. There will be people who are really lazy. They don't want to take leadership or be active. They'll follow others. Don't trouble me. You tell me what to do, I will do. Shudraha. Right? So they serve. They follow others. They are not bad people. Again, remember, this is not about who is good, who is great. No such comparison. Just facts. How do people get this samskara? Karma phalam. So based on the samskara, people have these tendencies. Shudraha kaha? Raja upasarjana tamah pradhanaha, who has tamo guna as the major tendency and rajo guna as the minor. Vaishyaha rajo guna, major guna, and tamo guna is the minor. Then kshatriyaha rajo gunaha pradhana gunaha, sattva gunaha gaunaha, secondary is sattva guna. Then brahmanaha, sattva guna pradhanaha, pure sattvikaha is that. So we can see that tendency. We can easily categorize people into these four categories. But unfortunately, we rarely see brahmana. Rarely. Forget about those who we call Brahmins. Forget about that kind of classification. If you see the whole of humanity and categorize the whole of humanity, whether it is in India, America, there are very, very few people who are really interested to find the truth. No, people are not interested. How many people want to really understand Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita, really, meaning what they actually mean? not what we want them to mean. There is a difference. Hardly any. Kshatriya is sattva guna, also rajo guna, but shauryaha, tejaha. So they have all this power and this thing but to protect, because they also have sattva guna. So they use their power to protect, to rule, right? Whether it is the kings or soldiers or, whose actions are that. Okay? And there are the Vaishyas, Vaishya Varnaha. So they're very active, motivated, active people chasing things. So bulk of us, most of us, where do we fall? Here. So if we want to really follow this and give some label to what we are, most of us, it doesn't matter whether in Indian, American, or wherever you are, most human beings today, this generation, are Vaishyaha. So if you like labels, if you would like labeling people, oh, he's a Brahmana, he's a Kshatriya, he's a Vaishya, then we have to label all of us as Vaishyas. Forget about the caste system. And then Shudraha, right? Shudraha who don't want to act, who don't want to take leadership, they want to follow. You can see that in any organization, business organization, you see people like that. In real life, you can see people like that, right? So that is the classification. So here, atra vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane. So that Brahmin, that reference is to that Brahmin, not to the so-called caste of Brahmin. Again, I'm saying all this because this is the truth. I am not against or for any kind of division. Okay. So kindly please understand that. This is not criticizing any system or anything. No. We are beyond that. We are trying to understand Tattvam, truth. What exactly is truth? What is Tattvam? Beyond all the mind's creation of divisions. Okay. भाष्यमग्रे नयामः महोदय अनुवदतु विद्या विनय संपन्ने उत्तमे संस्कारवति ब्राह्मणे सात्विके
विद्या विनय संपन्ने उत्तमे संस्कारवती ब्राह्मणे सात्विके
मध्यमायां च राजस्यां गवि
मध्यमायां च राजस्यां गवि
संस्कारहीनायाम् अधमे च केवलतामसे हस्त्यादौ च
संस्कारहीनायाम् अधमे च केवलतामसे
हस्त्यादौ च
हस्त्यादौ च
सत्त्वादिगुणैस्तज्जैश्च संस्कारैः
सत्त्वादिगुणैस्तज्जैश्च संस्कारैः
तथा राजसैः तथा तामसैश्च संस्कारैः
तथा राजसैः तथा तामसैश्च संस्कारैः
अत्यन्तमेवास्पृष्टं समम् एकमविक्रियं ब्रह्म
अत्यन्तमेवास्पृष्टं समम् एकमविक्रियं ब्रह्म
तद्द्रष्टुं शीलं येषां ते पंडिताः समदर्शिनः
तत् द्रष्टुं शीलं येषां ते पंडिताः समदर्शिनः.
See, so beautiful and very precise explanation. I'll take one by one. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Uttame Samskaravati Brahmane Satvike. See, Adi Shankara is clearly explaining what is the intention of, what is the Tatparyam of this sloka. You have Brahmanaha, Satvikaha, Samskaravan, Uttamaha Samskaraha. Satvikaha. Right? In him, uttame samskaravati brahmane. And madhyamayam cha rajasyam gavi. And you take a cow. Cow is, tatra madhyamayam rajasya gavi. Rajasi gauhu. Satvikaha brahmanaha. Rajasyam gavi. It's a cow which is rajoguna pradhanaha. Madhyama, you can say relatively, it's like intermediate level. Samskara hinayam adhame cha kevala tamase hastyadau. The elephant, etc., they're tamasa. See, tamasaha. They have tamoguna pradhanaha. Right? So they are like, heavy and more, inertia. They eat, drink, and lie down, sleep, but, be at one place. So what is the explanation? See the second part. Satvadi gunaihi tajjaischa samskaraihi. So this guna, sattva guna, and the samskara which has been acquired or born as a result of that sattva guna. So a Brahmin whose nishtha is in Brahman, whose interest is Brahman. Why he is interested in that? How he got that samskara? That samskara generated by the sattva guna. Tada rajasaihi samskaraihi tamasaischa samskaraihi. So all the three gunas and the samskaras which have resulted because of those gunas, which again is a consequence, a result of karma phala. But whatever be the reason, you have that. You have those tendencies now. You have that samskara. So this is Srushti, this Jagat, universe. When you see things are generally can be in this different levels. Atyantameva asprushtam samam ekam avikriyam brahma tadrashtum shilam yesham te panditaha samadarshinaha. So this universe, the things that you see, which are made up of essentially these three gunas, may have like this, some gunas more in some things, like Brahmana, Sattva guna pradhanaha, and like that, cow, like Madhyama, or a Gaja, or Tamo guna. But that is all Prakriti. But what about Parabrahman? Tat Atyantam eva asprushtam. Can these gunas touch Parabrahman? No. Sprashtum na shakyate. Asprushtam samam ekam avikriyam. One that doesn't change and one that is the same. Nityam, avinashi, aprameyam, shashvatam, avikriyam, parabrahman. Will that Brahman change because of these things? Take the example of sunlight. Does the sunlight shine only on gold? Or will the sunlight fall upon even iron, wood, an ant, so-called Brahmin, or a good man, bad man, a low, like an insect? Sunlight falls on anything. So if the sunlight falls on dirt, let us say mud or some dirt, does the sunlight become dirty because the rays have touched dirt? No. Sunlight is sunlight. The dirt cannot contaminate sunlight. Similarly, this Parabrahman, that which is the real source of everything that we see, including who sees it, that cannot be touched by any of these distinctions. Namarupa Bheda. Ekam avikriyam brahma tadrashtum shilam yesham te panditaha samadarshinaha. So those who have this clarity, this discriminative intelligence, those who see that this samam brahma, this parabrahman, parabrahma, param brahma, that is the same in everything, everywhere. He is a samadarshi. He is a pandita. Nanu abhodyat nanva bhojya naste doshavantaha समासमाभ्याम विषम समे पूजातः इति स्मृतेः. अत्र अहमेव वदामि. अत्र this is a little advanced. We'll go ahead with this in the next astu. So we have understood that, right? So samadarshinaha panditaha yesham नाशितम अज्ञानम ज्ञानेन येषां नाशितम अज्ञानम ते पंडिताः समदर्शिनः कथं पश्यन्ति इति now we have understood. अनन्तरम् इदानीं प्रश्नः भवति, if so, there is a Gautama dharma sutram is there. समासमाभ्याम विषम समे पूजातः नान्वभोज्या नास्ते दोषवन्तः इति स्मृतेः. But how should an intelligent person not make a distinction between those who are equal and those who are unequal, those who are to be regarded and those who should not be regarded? A person who cannot distinguish, who does not distinguish between a Brahmin, Vidya Vinaya Sampannaha, Pujarhaha, one who deserves adoration, puja, and Shvapakaha, one who eats meat of animals, Adhamaha, a person who should be condemned. Instead of condemning the person who should be condemned and adoring a person who deserves to be adored, if this person does not make that distinction, this Smriti says a person who does not distinguish between an condemnable person, who equates condemnable persons with adorable persons, such a person is not good. You don't want to even eat his food. You don't want to eat with him. That is the Smriti. Oh, how if you say like this, then that Smriti becomes wrong. Is the Vadaha. The opponents will argue like that. What is Adi Shankaracharya's answer to that? Nate doshavantaha. No, it is not so. Katham ihaiva iti. To explain that, now we have the shloka. Ihaiva tairjita sargaha yesham samye sthitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te sthitaha. कोऽपि प्रयत्नं कर्तुम् इच्छति किम् आकाङ्क्षापद्धत्या पठितुम्?
अहं करोमि महोदय.
कः वदति?
हरि.
अस्तु महोदय, धन्यवादः.
इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः ते स्थिताः पदच्छेदः महोदय इह एव तैः जितः सर्गः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः इह एव अव्ययानि अव्ययौ महोदय तैः नकारान्त तद् पुल्लिंग तृतीय बहुवचनं महोदय दकारान्त तद् पद तद् शब्दः जितः अकारान्त पुल्लिंग जित शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं महोदय सर्गः अपि अकारान्त पुल्लिंग सर्ग शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं येषां दकारान्त पुल्लिंग यद् शब्दः येषां येषां षष्ठी बहुवचनं महोदय साम्ये अकारान्त महोदय नपुंसकलिंग इति मन्ये नपुंसकलिंग साम्य शब्दः सप्तमी एकवचनं स्थितं अकारान्त अकारान्त नपुंसक अकारान्त नपुंसकलिंगं स्थितं मनः अपार अकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग स्थित शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं महोदय मनः सकारान्त मनस् नपुंसकलिंग मनस् शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं महोदय निर्दोषं अकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग निर्दोष निर्दोष शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं महोदय हि अव्ययं समं समम् अपि अकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग सम शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं ब्रह्म समं ब्रह्म अपि अकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग ब्रह्म
नकारान्त ब्रह्मन्
ब्रह्म नकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग ब्रह्म शब्दः निर्दोषं समं ब्रह्म सर्वान् अपि ब्रह्म शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं महोदय
ब्रह्म शब्दः न नकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग ब्रह्मन् शब्दः
नकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग ब्रह्मन् शब्दः प्रथम एकवचनं महोदय तस्मात् दकारान्त
अव्ययमिति स्वीकर्तुं शक्यते
तस्मात् अव्ययं ब्रह्मणि नकारान्त नपुंसकलिंग ब्रह्मन् शब्दः सप्तमी सप्तमी एकवचनं महोदय ते दकारान्त तद् शब्दः पुल्लिंग तकारान्त पुल्लिंग तद् शब्दः प्रथम बहुवचनं महोदय स्थिताः स्थिताः ते स्थिताः अपि अकारान्त अकारान्त पुल्लिंग स्थित स्थित शब्दः प्रथम बहुवचनं महोदय यैः तैः सम्बन्धः अस्ति महोदय क्रियापदं नास्ति मनः हैः इह एव तैर्जितः सर्गः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः भवन्ति इति अद्यहर
अत्र सर्गः जितः किल सर्गः जितः अस्ति
सर्गः जितः अस्ति
अस्ति अस्ति
अस्ति इति सर्गः जितः अस्ति सर्गः जितः अस्ति
सर्गः कैः जितः अस्ति
कै जितः अस्ति कैः जितः अस्ति
येषां मनः स्थितमस्ति
येषां मनः स्थितम् अस्ति तैः जितः अस्ति तैः
स्थितः
क्षम्यतां महोदय
कुत्र स्थितं मनः
कुत्र स्थितं मनः इह एव
साम्ये मनः साम्ये स्थितं
साम्ये स्थितं मनः येषां मनः साम्ये स्थितं तैः जितः अस्ति तैः जितः कुत्र अस्ति तैः जितः इह एव अस्ति
इदानीं द्वितीयं वाक्यं करोतु
द्वितीयं वाक्यं त्रीणि वाक्यानि सन्ति इति मन्ये महोदय निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म
वाक्यद्वयमपि कर्तुं शक्यते एकमपि वाक्यमपि कर्तुं शक्यते अस्ति इति स्थिताः सन्ति
के स्थिताः सन्ति ते स्थिताः सन्ति ते के
ते कुत्र
स्थिताः सन्ति ते ब्रह्मणि स्थिताः सन्ति ते कस्मात् ब्रह्मणि स्थिताः सन्ति ते तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि स्थिताः सन्ति ते कीदृशं किमर्थं
कुतः इति चेत् कुतः अत्र हि इत्युक्तौ अर्थः यस्मात् इति पुनः कुतः एवं
निर्दोषं समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः सन्ति
यस्मात् निर्दोषं ब्रह्म समं तस्मात् ते ब्रह्मणि स्थिताः अस्तु उत्तमं धन्यवादाः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गः येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः येषां मनः साम्ये स्थितं तैः इह एव सर्गः जितः those people whose antakaranam the antarindriyam is firmly established in samyam equanimity by them here itself while they are alive now in this world sargah jitaha By them is conquered. What? Rebirth. The bondage. It's beautiful. Right? So it is not that there is a big process, you go, then at the end of the life, you go somewhere and then there you are going to conquer things. No. Now is the time, not tomorrow, not after 100 years, not in the next Janma. Now. Why? Because if those who have firmly established their antakaranam is mano buddhi ahankara chittani, manaha buddhi ahankara chittam. That classification is more from the functional aspects of the same thing. There is only one antarindriyam. There are no 4 different parts. Just like the same person can be a father, a brother, a teacher, a student, right? All at the same time. A son. Similarly, an antarindriyam is a manaha, buddhihi, chittam, ahankaraha, because it performs all these functions. But antarindriyam is one. So that antarindriyam, even when it is firmly established in Brahman, then it is only Brahman everywhere. Samye sthitam bhavati. So in that state, equanimity is the state in which that is established. Samyam is, there is no good English word, so equanimity is the closest. Right? By them, sargaha jitaha iha eva. Yasmad samam brahma nirdosham. Because this Parabrahman is aprameyam, achalam, amalam, shuddham, nityam, avinashi, that Parabrahman cannot be tainted by any doshas. So, these people, they are firmly established in that Brahman. That is why they don't distinguish beings based on their level of I don't want to use the word growth, their level of gunas, okay? Where, how they are, their gunas and samskaras. Because the Panditaha, they see Parabrahman everywhere. Okay? So that is explained here. So we are running short of time. So what I will do is idanim atra bhashyam ahameva pathami tatparyam vivaranami. Nanva bhojya naste doshavantaha samasamabhyam vishamasame pujataha iti smrutehe. This smruti says, those adorable should be adored. Those who should not be adored, who should rather be condemned, should be condemned. A person who does not do that, you don't want to even eat with him, meaning you should not regard such a person, is the smruti. Nate doshavantaha. Based on this smruti, if people cannot distinguish, do not distinguish between a Brahmin and Adhama, then is that not incorrect as per this smruti? To answer that, this shloka, ihaiva jivadbhireva, ihaiva, here itself, jivadbhireva, taihi samadarshibihi, panditaihi, jitaha, vashíkrutaha, sargaha, janma, yesham samye, sarvabhuteshu, brahmani samabhave sthitam, nischalibhutam, manaha antahkaranam. Taihi samadarshibihi, by those people who are equanimous towards everything. Samadarshibihi, panditaihi, vashíkrutaha janma, rebirth, the birth is conquered. Samye, सर्वभूतेषु ब्रह्मणि समभावे स्थितं समं सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरं विनश्यत्स्व विनश्यन्तं यो पश्यति स पश्यति इति गीता वाक्यम्. तो साम्ये सर्वभूतेषु ब्रह्मणि समभावे स्थितं निश्चलीभूतं मनः antahkaranam. So these people, their antahkaranam, antarindriyam, nischali bhutam, it doesn't waver. It is firmly established in Brahman. That Brahman is the same in everything. So it is logical, it is reasonable. Since they are firmly established in Brahman, that Brahman is the same in everything. So they are firmly established in Brahman, which is same in everything. So everything is same for them. Nirdosham. Yajyapi doshavatsu svapakadishu mudhaihi tad doshaihi doshavadiva vibhavyate tathapi tad doshaihi asamprishtamiti निर्दोषम दोषवर्जितम ही यस्मात् नापि स्वगुण भेद भिन्नम निर्गुणत्वात् चैतन्यस्य चैतन्यम चैतन्यस्य निर्गुणत्वम. So what is Parabrahman? Okay, you keep saying Parabrahman, but give some qualification, some explanation of what that is. Chaitanyam. Satchidananda Swarupamiti. Actually, Parabrahman is Nirguna. Cannot be qualified with any words, beyond comprehension. But for the human mind, but we understand things with the mind. We can grasp only those things which can be grasped by mind. This mind is not capable of touching anything, is not capable of understanding which is beyond mind. So give me something. That's why we have all these Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita to give us something. So we understand that in words. So what is that word? Chaitanyam. Satchidananda Swarupam. Sat. Sada asti. Iti sat. Chit. Chaitanyam. Iti chit. Anandaha. Anandaha eva Swarupaha. Swarupam tasya iti. Chaitanyam. Chaitanyam nirgunatvam. Chaitanya cannot be qualified with sattva, rajas, tamas. It's beyond that. Right? So, Shvapakadishu mudhaihi, only foolish people, ignorant people, try to identify Brahman with the body. So they will say, oh, this is Brahmin, he is a Vidya Vinaya Sampanna, he is a higher level being. Right? Yeah, if a Brahman is in him, I can see that. But in a very lower level being, low animal, a street dog, how can Brahman be in that? That dog is tamoguna, is only tamoguna. It doesn't have a rajoguna or sattva guna, no intelligence. How can Pandita treat all of them same? Right? So the foolish people will distinguish them. Nirdosham doshavarjitam hi. But Brahman is not tainted by those limitations or bad things. Napi swaguna beda bhinnam nirgunatvat chaitanyasya. This chaitanyam cannot be qualified with any of these gunas. So vakshyati cha bhagavan ichhadinam kshetra dharmatvam anaditvat nirgunatvat iti cha. So Bhagavan is Vakshyati, is going to talk about this. This is in chapter 13, 13th Adhyaya. Anaditvat nirgunatvat iti. So this Parabrahman is Anadihi, no beginning, no end. Nirgunaha. There's nothing qualifying. Nothing can qualify Brahman. Napyatyanta visheshaha atmanaha bhedakaha santi prati shariram tesham satve pramananupapattehe. Right? There is nothing which demonstrates that the Atman, the Parabrahman, that Nirguna Parabrahman, which is the Chaitanyam, which is the same in all beings, gets tainted by the body, and so every body has its own Brahman of different levels. There is nothing to show that, right? There is no logical proof that this Parabrahman is divided into levels. Satvika, there is a Satvika Brahman and there is a Rajo Brahman. All that is nonsense. That goes against the very definition of what Brahman is, the reality. Ataha samam brahma ekam cha. So Brahman is only one and he is the same. Tasmat brahmani eva te sthitaha. Because of that, the Panditaha, they are firmly established only in that Brahman. Tasmat na dosha gandha matramapi tan sprushati. So just like the doshas cannot touch Brahman, similarly, the Panditaha who have understood what Brahman is, who are firmly established in Brahman, they themselves have become Brahman, Brahmavid. So they cannot be tainted by this doshaha, what this sutram is saying. Tasmat na doshagandha matramapi tan sprushati. Now see this beautiful samasa, it is very long. Don't be afraid of the length of this. Deha adi sanghatatma darshanabhimana bhavat. Because he has to say so many things in one word, so he's doing this. Abhavat, non-existence. Of what? Abhimana. Abhimana, asakti, attachment. In what? Atma darshana, to see oneself where? Dehadi sanghata. Dehadi sanghata. This is a body-mind system. Dehadi sanghata atma darshana abhimana bhavat. These people, Panditaha, in them there is one thing which is non-existent. What is non-existent? The abhimana, the prejudiced attachment, prejudiced identification of Brahman with the body-mind system. That is foolishness. That foolishness they don't have. You see? Samasa is big, but it clearly drives the point. Once again, what is the point? There are people, apanditaha murkhaha, ajnaninaha, people like us. Where do we have our abhimana, our asakti? Dehadi sanghata atma abhimana. We are attached to this body. We identify ourselves with this body-mind system. I am Raghu. I am Hari. Who is this Raghu? Raghu. No, you see the body. This person who has this body, you can describe the body, height this much, and he has, he teaches Samskritam and he loves Samskritam. He is teaching Gita now, right? Now, all these descriptions you can give about him, right? So you see him as that. So that is the Dehadi Sanghat Atma Darshanabhimanam. That's what we can see, that's what we see. But in the Panditas, the Jnaninaha, they don't have that. They are free from that prejudice. Now, next sentence. Dehadi Sanghat Atma Darshanabhimanavad Vishayam tu Tat Sutram. But the sutram which you are quoting, the sutram says you should distinguish between the people who deserve to be adored and who deserve to be condemned. That Sutram is acting at that level by identifying Parabrahman with the Dehadi Sanghata, Atma Abhimanaha. So you are identifying, so this person is adorable, this person is condemnable based on the qualities, but those qualities don't touch Brahman. So that's this Sutram is not talking about Brahman, is for the people who have this impression, who believe that they are the body mind systems. Samasamaabhyam vishamasame pujataha iti puja vishayatva visheshanat. So there the question is, the topic is for that sutram, who is more adorable, who is condemnable, is the vishayam there. Drishyate hi brahmavit षडंगवित चतुर्वेद विदिति पूजा दानादौ गुण विशेष संबंध कारणम. So here that adorable, respectable person, who is that respectable person? Brahmavit, who has understood Brahma, who has some Brahma Jnanam through Shastras. Shadangavit, one who studied Vedas. Vedangani, Shadangani. So you know Vedangas, right? Siksha, Chandaha, Vyakaranam, Niruktam, right? Jyotishaha. These are all, you know, there are 6 Angas, Vedangas. So those who have studied all this, Guna Vishesha Sambandha Karanam. So you respect that Brahmin because he has studied all this, Sattva Guna Pradhanaha. Right? So you are identifying with that gunas and say that he has studied all this, so he deserves to be respected, given, adored. Brahma tu sarva guna dosha sambandha varjita mityataha brahmani te sthita ityuktam. But Brahman sarva guna dosha sambandha varjitaha. Brahman cannot be tainted with any of these gunas. Great gunas or lower gunas is independent of that. Karma vishayam cha samasamabhyam ityadi itam tu sarva karma samnyasi vishayam prastutam sarva karmani manasa ityarabhya adhyaya parisamaptehe. But what Bhagavan Krishna is talking about here, he is not talking about the people who are well versed on this Vedas and all that, and who read all these Gautama Sutras and all that, and say that they follow those rules. One who has studied Vedas should be respected, knowledgeable, sattva gunaha, sattvikaha. One who is madhyamaha, right? Kshatriyaha, athava, Shudraha, he should be condemned. That is the fools who do those things. See, here our, or should I say, the Vedic wisdom and that so-called Hindu religion and culture is blamed for the inequality, right? And the atrocities committed against people who are cast away, who are branded as a lower level people. That is one of the biggest criticisms which we have to answer. This is this Bhashyam explanation. That distinction is by fools, not by Panditaha. Sanatana Dharma is the word most used, most abused. People have this impression of Sanatana Dharma means doing rituals and protectionism, continuance of faith-based blind beliefs. Quite the contrary. our Sanatana Dharma Upanishads and see this Bhashyam, how rational it is and how clear it is and how this is what Bhagavan Krishna himself is saying. So, the criticism against this caste system, discrimination, criticism cannot hold, because that is not what our Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads or our Sanatana Dharma is about. Quite the contrary, exact opposite. So who criticize this? Those who do not understand this and who do discriminate people in the name of caste. Once again, those who do not understand this, they think they are champions of Sanatana Dharma. No. It is because of them that the Sanatana Dharma has become a mystery. And our Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads have become mysteries. So it is so nicely explained in this shloka by Bhagavan Krishna. And the Bhashyam also is so precise and okay. I'm sorry, it took 15 minutes longer. I wanted to conclude it at a good point. Atah punah ekvaram shlokam vadami. Ihaiv tairjitah sargah yesham samye sthitam manah nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmad brahmani te sthitah. So both the points are well established in this shloka. So in brahmani te sthitaha. So those who are firmly established in the Parabrahman, which is Nityam, Satyam, Satchidanandam Rupam, in that, by them, right now in this world, while they are alive in this body, they are free from bondage, rebirth, Jivan Muktaha. So Jivan Muktihi is possible, and that is the goal, aim of, that is the Vishaya, the key topic of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads and Vedanta is that. Astu. Atra sthapayamaha. Since we took a very long time, we'll limit the question answers to 5 minutes. 1 or 2 questions. If there is any. On what we discussed today, let it not be generic. The shlokas we studied, 2 shlokas, right? Actually 3 shlokas. The other shloka was from 4th chapter. So in these 3 shlokas, we discussed really wide ranging topics. Any question on that? Any comment? Has everybody understood the meaning of the Bhashyam? No questions? Astu. Uttamam. Tarhi atra स्थापयामः शान्तिमन्त्रम् उक्त्वा
ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा मृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
हरिः ओम्
हरिः
धन्यवादाः
गुरुभ्यः
शुभं पुनर्मिलामः